Hi everyone, my name is Penny Croal. I thought I would introduce myself a little bit because we are going to be doing this fabulous webinar, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I have putting it together for you. And I've been studying the mind-body connection for over 15 years now. I think we all have, the minute that we're actually conceived in the womb. However, I truly didn't understand what was going on a lot of the time in my body. Now, a little bit of background about me, so you get a feel of who I am and where I've come from. I grew up in a small fishing village, even just outside Dundee, called Broughty Ferry. I left home when I was 17, became a Thomson rep. I did that for 9 years. That was quite traumatizing for me. I was very shy. I was an introvert. I know that you wouldn't believe that now as you get to know me. I came to London because I couldn't think of anything worse than going back to Dundee, and no offense to people from Dundee, it's a beautiful place, but at that time it wasn't for me. I then became an estate agent. Don't switch off your computers. And through that time, there was further other triggers and traumas in my life. I didn't quite understand at the time that these triggers and traumas were related to beliefs that I'd made in my childhood. And then I thought, well, these things are not working out for me because my business partners were running off my money and little things would happen to me. And well, who knows? However, I do understand quite now what was going on. And then I became an interior designer. And yet again, my business partner ran off with me and left me basically homeless. He didn't run off with me, I should say. He ran off with all my money. And I was, through that time, was diagnosed with bipolar, which in those days was called manic depressive. And having tried to commit suicide and failing, I realized that I needed to actually do something quite different. And I remember reading Einstein's quote saying that if you did the same thing over and over again and expected a different outcome, that was a sign of madness. Well, to be quite truthful, I was diagnosed as mad in those days. And so I started looking at different modalities, crystals, hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, and did quite a variety of different workshops, became a bit of a workshop junkie. Shh, don't tell anybody. And then one day I woke up with Bell's palsy, and yet again I went to my doctors, and she said to me that there was nothing that could be done for my Bell's palsy, which basically meant that my right hand side of my face was paralyzed, and I had to walk along the street with a tissue because saliva was falling out of my mouth. Food would fall out of my mouth. You could see the whole of my eyeball. This was very shaming for me at the time. And therefore, I found a massage lady for my trapped nerve. And I had a broken foot at the time as well. And she offered me EFT, emotional freedom technique. And therefore, I started my journey with tapping, and my face went back to normal. However, what was quite interesting, I never intended to become a practitioner. And I was very fortunate to meet Carl Dawson, who introduced me to Richard Fluke. And Carl Dawson is the creator of matrix reimprinting, and Richard Fluke had studied meta health. And meta health comes from New German medicine, and we've advanced that quite much more, in fact, because Dr. Hammer, who created New German medicine, was looking at it from an animal perspective only and not taking into account emotions that we as human beings have. And during that 8-year journey that I had, I healed myself from bipolar. As you can see, I no longer have my Bell's palsy and many other ailments and symptoms and behaviors that I had. And in this short webinar series to introduce you to metaconsciousness, I have put together a very basic detail of how the brain evolves during evolution in the womb, so that you too can have a deeper understanding. And I truly, truly believe now that we have a choice. Yeah, we have a choice over our health, over our behaviors, and over our symptoms in our bodies, if we can truly actually communicate with our body. And all our body is trying to do is survive. So I do hope that you can enjoy this webinar series as much as I have, and really help yourself to understand what's going on in your own body, and perhaps assist your friends and family if they so choose to as well. Because do remember, this is all about choice. So welcome, thank you for listening to me, and any questions, do put them in the membership site. Thank you so much, take care.